Peterson, and this is Drinking in Bed. I'm here with Jerry James Stone, and we're going to talk about Quivira's Grenache.
Grenache, yeah.
So, one thing right off the bat that I want to kind of hit on that kind of strikes home to me is that they have a very big influence with solar energy. And that's one way that Jerry and I actually met, is I worked for a solar contracting company. And Jerry was big in the sustainable industry at the time, and I went after him on Twitter. I was like, always trying to meet up with him. Not a creepy way, just I just knew that he was sustainable, and it's something that was very valuable to me. And I continued to go after him on Twitter and like talk to him, and we'd have conversations, and eventually that's how we met.
And I think the funny part about it is, so you're working, what was CalFinder? CalFinder was the solar engineer. So I was writing for treehugger.com. I had been writing for about sustainability, clean tech, all those sort of things, cars, whatever, all in the environmental space for about 2 years for treehugger.com and a few other places. But I met you when you quit CalFinder. Yeah. It was like, I'm quitting, and so we should like hang out because I'm not going to be on Twitter anymore with like CalFinder or something like that, And so we met up at one of my favorite bars here in San Francisco, which is Lucky 13, with a good friend of his, Brittany Morris. Is that how you say her last name? Mm-hmm. Okay. I've had that much booze. I had all but this bottle right here. So Brittany Morris, we met up and we had drinks at Lucky 13. If you're ever in San Francisco and you have an affinity for like the whole greaser hipster,
that's where you'll find Jerry.
That's what And for those of you that do not drink, which I'm not sure if I can be your friend, but for those of you that do not drink, they have a lovely root beer on tap also. So we met up, we had drinks, and I think we were like instant besties from there. And so now we just drink in my bed with my cat Lola.
She is kind of a slow. But the reason I brought up solar is that this is something that Quivira does.
Yes, so
they have a big solar energy plant right there that
they do.
Powers most of their winery.
I forget exactly how much I want to say. It's like 50 kilowatts per hour, right?
It's, I think 55.
55.
Yeah,
okay. Yep. So they, you actually can go to their website, which I think is really kind of funny. I mean, like the idea is, it's funny in the sense that businesses are rarely transparent about like what they do, and so you can actually go to Quivira's website and see exactly what the winery and vineyard is using power-wise and how much that is actually being powered.
It's actually a really cool thing.
It's totally cool.
See how much they're using. Yeah.
I mean, if Google, who I believe also has solar panels, if Google did something like that, where you could actually go and see what Google is using power-wise and how much of that is like sort of what's the word? It starts with an S. Subsidized, there we go. Subsidized, I've had a lot of wine. How much of it is like actually subsidized via solar power? I think that would just be a really inspiring fact, because the thing about solar is sort of, kind of looked down upon about its like inability to sort of compensate for real world needs, and I think that's definitely not the case, especially here in the Bay Area, which I just want to point out, fog is not a bad thing for solar at all. In fact, direct sunlight, you might actually, it's sort of counterintuitive, but direct sun actually decreases the efficiency of solar panels in comparison to like indirect sun. So if you look at someplace like Arizona, which obviously Arizona could like create a huge solar farm, and I don't actually know if they have one or not, but they could.
They have some.
They have some. They could,
similar to Southern California, like on their border.
Okay, so
Southern California also does, Nevada.
Right, right. These places that are, you think of like being sunny and all of that stuff could have these huge solar arrays, but like actually direct sun decreases the efficiency of solar panels because they get hot and they just don't work as well. I understand, because I'm the same way. Like I get warm and I just don't work as well. But so solar panels actually work really, really well here in the Bay Area, which is what you were sort of doing with CalFinder.
Exactly.
So anyway, we met via solar.
And that's
not chat roulette.
Bring it back. Yeah, chat roulette. If you
that was later.
That might be what we talked about when we just hang out with you. But we are going to try this.
There's a little bit of wine left in here, so I'm just going to drink that.
Which is powered a little bit by solar.
Yeah, solar powered. Quivira is, it's a really cool winery. I mean, they're biodynamic, which, if you haven't seen any of our other videos, biodynamic is like extreme organic. I mean, it's this level of the best way that I've had it explained to me. So if you're familiar with Benziger Winery, which we have not reviewed yet, but I don't think we've reviewed Benziger. No. So Benziger was started by Mike Benziger, and he's this like great biodynamic advocate. And the way he sort of describes it is like nothing knows a particular place like a plant. So that grapevine, unlike humans, doesn't travel around. It sits there, it sucks in the nutrients, it takes in the sun. So nothing else knows that space, unlike a plant. And so biodynamics kind of addresses like the needs of that plant. And Quivira is biodynamic. I mean, it's just sort of this extreme level of organic processing that sort of takes into account not only the lack of pesticides and herbicides, but other factors like the quality of life of the plant. And I'm excited to try this Grenache.
Here we are.
I'm a huge Grenache fan.
Cheers.
Cheers. Lola is also a bit of a Grenache fan. Maybe not. She's a lap slut. That's all that really matters. Oh. That's nice. Do you have what do you sort of gravitate to when it comes to varietals? I mean, Grenache, Syrah, Pinot Noir, Merlot, like what do you drink the most of?
When it comes to reds, I usually gravitate. You're already in love with it, aren't you? Yeah, you took one.
I'm like, stop talking. This is my best French.
I'm mostly like a Cabernet Sauvignon. Like usually when
you like chewy, meatier kind of reds. Okay.
Yep, that's the way I usually go with reds.
This is not particularly chewy. This is actually pretty light as far as reds go.
Nope. But that's if I'm just gonna have a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
That's where I go. But I will not discriminate against a delicious wine.
This is tasty, and I'm a little bit drunk. As I said, we've had a lot of wine today. We've actually reviewed 6 different bottles of wine, and I think all in a couple hours. So biodynamic. What were our talking points? So anyway, yes, Quivira. Biodynamic. The thing that I really like about this wine is the thing about reds is they tend to. I think it's sort of the sort of easy way out is to kind of beat you over the head. It's like I just want to point out I have a cock on my shirt, but like they tend to like beat you
and a pussy
and a pussy. Stop looking at my cock. They tend to beat you over the head. I mean, it's like it's really easy. Like with a white wine, it's really easy to make an overly oaked wine where it's just so buttery that you don't get to enjoy the nuances of that wine. And with a red wine, I think it's really easy to make a really overly powerful, full-bodied, full of flavor kind of red. And for Grenache, I mean, it's one of those blends that balance is always really important when it comes to wine, but I think Grenache always is like more cantankerous when it comes to balance than any other varietal. I mean, when it's really balanced, it's just such a beautiful variety.
Yeah, this is a very like sharp berry flavor to me. Like it's the blackberry, like a raspberry almost.
Raspberry. There's flavor. A lot of spice on this.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is a spicy wine. Like if you wanted, I mean, how much was this wine?
46.
$46. Okay, so this might not be the wine that you want to do a mulled wine with because it's a little pricey, but if you wanted to do a mulled wine well, this is the one. If this is
one you want to keep in your cabinet for a special occasion.
Yeah.
This is a delicious wine which is not extremely expensive. It's on the higher end, but it's not over the top expensive, but it's still a good wine to have for that.
But you would start with this red because you want to start with a good red, and this is definitely a good.
This will set the tone the right way.
Yeah.
With
This is the red you want to drink before you're drunk. Unlike us.
And like I was saying, it's very very raspberry.
Yeah.
Very berry.
There's but it has like that sort of like red tartness, like that red strawberry, red cranberry.
The tart is there.
Like it's not it's not syrupy, it's not jammy, it's definitely fruit forward, but there's a kind of crispness to the spiciness that's involved too. It's really enjoyable.
Yes, it is. Let's enjoy it.
Yes, cheers. Thank you for joining us.